About 9 years ago, nobody thought that it would spread to neighboring states. But we didn't take immediate measures to arrest the situation. And gradually, it spread to neighboring states of Sokoto, Zamfara, Katsina, Kaduna, and even beyond, even Niger State. So this Lakurawa movement is a terrorist movement. They came from Mali. My distinguished colleagues, Mr. President, I rise to second and also to support this motion ably moved by my colleague, Senator Yahya Abdullahi. It is true that the peace-loving people of Mera town in Algi local government area of Kebbi State were gruesomely murdered by terrorists in the name of religion. Over 20 of them were killed innocently. And not only that, Mr. President, the whole local government and neighboring local government areas too were living in fear because these terrorists are well armed with highly sophisticated weapons. And I can attest to that, Mr. President, because they move freely without anybody harassing them. Our security agents, one of them was even killed. Mr. President, I want your attention. The people over there are disturbing the debate. Mr. President, I want your attention. The people over there are disturbing the debate.
Yeah, proceed. Continue. I'm with you.
Mr. President, this is a very serious matter because it touches on national security. And that's why I want your attention and indeed the attention of Nigerians. Mr. President, if you recall that banditry started in Zamfara State, and about 9 years ago, nobody thought that it would spread to neighboring states. But we didn't take immediate measures to arrest the situation. And gradually, it spread to neighboring states of Sokoto, Zamfara, Katsina, Kaduna, and even beyond, even Niger State. So this Lakurawa movement is a terrorist movement. They came from Mali. They control the whole of northern Mali. And they made that part of the country ungovernable. Recently, the government of Mali, with the assistance of a foreign country, was able to dislodge quite a number of them. And they started spreading to other parts of West Africa, including Nigeria. Even though as far back as 4 years ago, some of them moved to Sokoto. And I think during the reign of Governor Aminu Tambuwal, now senator, he contacted the then president, and armed military men were sent, and quite a number of them were killed. So, Mr. President, the time to act is now if we want to control the spread of this terrorist. Mr. President, we have been discussing about security in this Senate. I want us to recall what happened in the 8th Senate and the 9th Senate. We had discussed extensively on how we can tame the tide of banditry and terrorism. We made recommendations, 5 detailed recommendations, and we asked the executive arm of government to implement those resolutions. Mr. President, it is still relevant for us to insist that those resolutions should be implemented. And if we do so, quite honestly, it will reduce the incidence of banditry and insurgency in this country. In fact, we can reduce it to the barest minimum. Mr. President, lastly, I associate myself to all the prayers contained in the motion heavily moved by Senator Yahya Abdullahi. And let me end by commending the security agents who immediately sent in reinforcement, and that made it possible to send away the terrorists and also recover the rescued cows. And that has brought relative peace to the area. And I also commend the government of Kebbi State by sending relief materials to the affected area. The governor was there yesterday to commiserate with the people. Thank you, Mr. President.
Distinguished Senator Maidoke, is he around? Huh?
Privilege. I am Amin Waziri Tambuwal. I represent Sokoto South Senatorial District of Sokoto State. Mr. President, I rise to lend my voice in support of this motion as moved and seconded by Senator Abdullahi and Adamu Mohamed Alero. Indeed, as said by Senator Mohamed Adamu Alero, when I was on the saddle as governor of Sokoto State, to the glory of God Almighty, we had an encouraging of this group, possibly, and I think I may be correct, for the first time in Sokoto State in 2018. And we had to mobilize in collaboration with the federal government to dislodge them and disperse most of them. It was a very, very well carried out operation by the security personnel. I was therefore surprised, Mr. President, when I read in the press some security officers or officials saying that this was the first time that we had such an incursion of this of this terrorist group in Nigeria. That is not correct. And Mr. President, I support all the prayers of this motion. We need to nip this in the bud. It's too serious for us to allow to take it lightly, because these people are well armed with sophisticated weapons, and I believe they even have some international connections. Therefore, there is a need for the government of Nigeria to take this matter very, very seriously. Otherwise, it may snowball, as did the banditry from Zamfara into virtually every part of northwestern Nigeria and several parts of north central. So I support this motion, Mr. President, and I urge our colleagues so to do. Thank you very much.
With the people of Kebbi State, because this is a new dimension to the problem of insecurity we're having in that area. It is sad that while our security agencies are working very hard to deal with the current situation that we have, or the situation that was there before these people came into Kebbi State, when the security agencies are working very hard, day in, day out, sacrificing their lives to deal with the situation that was hitherto occurring in that state. Now, a new dimension has come to exacerbate the problem of insecurity that we are facing in that area, in that state. I think it's good to nip the entirety in the board. It's good to nip it in the board. This is how Boko Haram started. These guys, those guys were coming in from other parts of the world, other parts of the West African sub-region into Borno State then. And the appropriate action that was taken did not take place at the right time. And so they got emboldened, and the rest is now history. We saw all we went through, what we went through, not only the people of Borno, but the entire country, the entire northern part of this country saw the greatest devastation that they have ever witnessed in the life of the northern part of Nigeria. Now, what we need to do is to urge our security agencies to double their effort. We know they are doing very well. They are putting their lives on the line, fighting for our safety, to safeguard us, to give us security, for us to sleep with our two eyes closed every night. And that made them to lose their lives. They are killed, in action. So we thank them. We appreciate what they are doing. This is a new challenge. It's a new challenge. We urge them to do more. They are doing very well. It's a new dimension to the entire scenario we have in the state of Kebbi. And I'm very sure the Senate and of course the State government that is doing very well will also do more to make sure that as we assist our security agencies to deal with this new dimension that has come to increase the problem of insecurity that we have in Kebbi State. I condole the families of those that have lost their lives, those who have lost their properties due to the actions of these foreigners who have come to invade our country. I urge the Senate to support this motion because anything that happens to any part of this country is something that affects the entire country. I say so, Mr. President.
Is there anybody that is opposed to this motion? Prayer 1, urge the Nigerian military to maintain their presence and vigilance in the affected communities to halt the activities of this Lakurawa group from spreading further across the region. I would have put the question, but I think we should commend the military for their prompt action already. No, I know in the prayer, we should first commend the military for their prompt action. Then before we tell them to maintain their presence. Is there anybody that will amend this prayer 1? Senator Aleru.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mohammed Adam Aleru is my name. Mr. President, I want to amend the first prayer to commend the military for sending immediate reinforcement personnel to the area to restore peace and also to maintain presence in the area.
Senator Mangunu.
Distinguished and highly respected colleagues, I do appreciate this approval that you have granted us to present this motion in this exalted chamber today. The motion is on urgent need for the federal government to take stringent measures to stop the infiltration of a group of violent terrorists known as Lakurawa from entrenching themselves in some northwestern parts of Sokoto and Kebbi states. Senate is aware that a group of terrorists from neighboring Burkina Faso and Mali, known as Lakurawa, has infiltrated the country through the Nigeria-Niger border at Ilela, Tangaza, Silami local government areas of Sokoto state, and are there.
The chief whip.
And from there, attacking communities in Augi and Ariwa local governments in Kebbi State. Senate recalls that this violent gang of terrorists had raided and dispossessed these communities prior to the large-scale invasion of Mera, a village in Augi local government, on November 8, 2024, killing more than 20 people and fleeing with their livestock amounting to hundreds of millions of naira. Senate is aware that Kebbi State government promptly responded by sending a delegation with relief materials to the affected villages and assistance to families of the deceased. The Senate is also aware that my humble self, distinguished Senator Muhammad Adam Aleru of Kebbi Central Senatorial District, distinguished Senator Garu Musa Medoki of Kebbi South Senatorial District, along with some members of the House of Representatives from Kebbi State, have been to those areas to commiserate with the victims of the attack on behalf of the National Assembly. Senate is aware that if timely, adequate, and decisive measures are not taken, this group can spread its foreign reign of terror to other parts of northern parts of the country and beyond. Senate notes that the prompt response of the Ministry of Defense and the Armed Forces, who dispatched a well-armed military response squad that was able to dislodge the terrorists and secured the release of herds of cattle and other livestock that were stolen by the terrorists. Accordingly, Senate resolves to, 1, urge the Nigerian military to maintain their presence and vigilance in the affected communities to hold the activities of Lakurawa from spreading further across the region. 2, further direct the military to work with the communities and other security agencies to set up early warning mechanisms to forestall further incursions. 3, further urge the federal government to send an assessment team to the affected areas to estimate the extent of damages and to determine the immediate relief materials needed by the affected communities and families. And 4, observe 1 minute silence in favor of over 20 people who were killed in the community in the wake of the terrorist incursions. I thank you very much, Mr. President. I thank you, my colleagues, for giving me this opportunity.
Senator Alero to say that commend the Nigerian military for their prompt response to these insurgents, and then also urge them to maintain their vigilance in the affected communities to halt the activities of this Lakurawa group from spreading further across the region. Those in support of prayer 1 as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2, further direct the military to work with the communities and other security agencies to set up early warning mechanisms to forestall further incursions. Those in support of prayer 2, as stated herein, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 3, further urge the federal government of Nigeria to send an assessment team to the affected areas to estimate the extent of damages, to forestall and to determine the immediate relief materials needed to be given to the affected areas, affected families. Those in support of prayer 3 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 4, observe 1 minute silence in honor of the deceased community members who have so far been killed through the activities of this terrorist group. Those in support of prayer 4 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, let me thank Senator Abdullahi Yahya for bringing this motion. And this is the way it starts. And if it is not nipped in the bud, it will spread terror across many parts of this country. So I also want to use this opportunity because from the body of your motion, you pointed out that the Nigerian military moved swiftly and they were able to dislodge them from the communities that they killed people and occupied. And so while we commend the military, we want the military to continue to maintain their presence in those regions in order to forestall a further incursion into the country of this terrorist group. So, and I thank all my colleagues for their contributions. The security of lives of Nigerians is important to all of us, and security belongs to all. So thank you for bringing this, and I hope these motions that we have met today and all the resolutions so far will help to forestall the new group from gaining prominence in the country like all previous groups had done. Thank you so much. Can we now rise for 1 minute silence in honor of those so far killed? But the souls of all Nigerians who have so far been killed by these insurgents infiltrating the country from Burkina Faso and Mali, known as Lakurawa Group, rest in perfect peace.